Hi and welcome to our last level 2 calculus video. You made it. Awesome. So let's get into it. In this video we're going to learn how to sketch functions and their gradient functions. Right, we've talked a lot about differentiation and anti-differentiation over the last few videos. In this video we're going to focus on drawing functions and their gradient functions. And what we tend to do is draw the function above on one set of axes and draw the gradient function below on the bottom set. Right, here's example 1. This blue function above looks to be a parabola. It is a parabola, and it's an x to the power of 2. Now, once we differentiate it, the x squared, the 2 comes out the front, multiplies out the front, and the power of 2 drops down to a power of 1, which is a linear function because 2x is linear. So in your brain, in your mind, just think the function above is parabola, the function below has to be a linear, the gradient function is linear. All right, so how do we draw a linear function below? Here's what we do. We take this point, which is a minimum turning point. It's got a gradient of 0. And we drop that down to the x-axis below because that's going to be on the x-axis, which represents a 0 gradient. In this region, we know it's a negative gradient. It's going downhill. And a negative gradient means it's below the x-axis. And in this region here, we know it's a positive gradient. And a positive gradient means it's above the x-axis. So this here is what our gradient function would look like. It was a parabola, and it's now turned into a linear function, a straight line graph, and this is what it would look like. All right, let's try a second example. Here is a cubic function. And we're going to draw the gradient function below. Now, a cubic function is an x to the power of 3. And after we differentiate it, the 3 would come out the front. The power of 3 would drop down to a power of 2. Now, power of 2 is a quadratic function, and it draws a graph called a parabola. So a cubic function differentiates to a quadratic or parabola function. So keep that in mind when we go to draw it. So how do we draw the parabolic function below? Here's how we do it. Take the 2 turning points, which both have gradients of 0, and drop them both down to the x-axis below, and then draw a dot on the x-axis because this represents a gradient of 0. Now, in this region, we know it's a positive gradient, and positive gradient means that the gradient is above the x-axis. It's positive. In this region, we know it's a negative gradient, which means it's below the x-axis, which is negative, and then we're back to a positive gradient again, which means we are above the axis again. And here's our parabolic function, which is our gradient function for the original cubic. Now, we've just been through 2 examples. There are many and lots of different variations that the exam could ask. So go away, find some practice stuff on this, and get stuck in until you're feeling okay about it. All right, all the best with your calculus. Look forward to seeing you in level 3. Thanks for watching.